Horrigan's Helpful Hints for 2025. I just want to let you know I really appreciate you taking the time to stop by and watch this. I wish you were here in person. Basically, what you're going to see today is some diamonds in the rough. This is my 38th year. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, I'm the OG. I used to be the young guy, now I'm the OG. So with that being said, why don't we get right into it? And let me share my screen here. As you can see here, this is the new tooling screens. You can see what they continue to modernize these to make it easier for you. For example, this was kind of the first generation that they came out with of this new dashboard-looking menu system. What it allows you to do is customize this, obviously by employee, by department. You can drag and drop these things, these boxes. You can call the names of the programs whatever you want to. Obviously, it's not called shipping confirmation or quote/order entry. You can label these programs whatever you want to label them. And you can see you've got all kinds of neat graphs and charts. So there's all kinds of things you could do. You can actually change these things on the fly and play around with them. I'll get into that a little bit more, but I know Joey's already had a session on this and he got into great detail. So I'll make sure you watch his because he's the developer behind this, done some amazing things. So again, you can drag and drop. There's all kinds of slick things, but I want you to see this is the first generation. The second generation of this is what you're hearing about now, role-based menus. The first one they came out with is for CSRs. This allows the customer service people, when they log in the morning, it's loading right now, and you'll see here in a minute, my dashboard. This gives me about everything I need to know about my daily routine. It'll show me all my sales, my margin. It shows me my open quotes percentages here. I can look at all my open quotes. I can drill down by clicking on it. I look at all my sales by the counter sales over the phone. And then you can see my quote conversion rate. Again, these all can be sorted. I can jump right over to the sales order screen here. I currently have 1,342 open orders. You can see my sales orders right here. You can look at my top 10 credit hold customers. These are the ones that don't tend to pay their bills here. These are the top 5 by promise date. These are the ones that are kind of old. As you can see, we're talking 20 plus years old. But let's say the customer calls and say, hey, where's my order? And it's triple count trailers. You just double click right here. And it will bring up this screen here, and we can actually drill down. So it brings up basically the sales order header and along with the detail lines right here. So if you want to drill down a little bit, if you look right here, the status, these are all closed. This one's still open. So by clicking that and hitting this go button, hitting the activity inquiry log, you'll be able to drill down and look at what's the issue here. In this case, things have been shipped in fabrication, but they're on allocation hold. So from here, you can go ahead and release that from the hold if you'd like to, provided you obviously have the security to do so. Come up here, hit post, off to the races you go. So I won't post those, but that's the capabilities that you're going to have available to you here with this new dashboard technology. Sorry about that. And again, you can look at your credit hold customers. You can drill down into their orders as well, which leads me into the next thing. I've showed you how to quickly and easily you can share and modify those menu screens in the dashboards. Well, now what you do is you have the ability now to change the inquiry screens. For example, you can see what I got here. If I right click, well, for example, let's say I want to resort this. Let's go ahead and drill down into this order a bit. And then, you know what, we're going to look at all the sales orders in my territory. So what's going to happen here, it's going to return all of these here in a minute. And I've got, 38 years of sales orders. As you saw, 1,342 of them. So hopefully this will be done in a moment. Don't try this at home, it's dangerous. No, I'm just kidding, but there we go. So these are all my open orders. But let's say you want to sort these by written by. I did all open orders. I didn't do just mine. So if you look, each header has a little filter, right? So I can go to this filter here and say, just give me mine, and hit close, and it'll actually filter those and just give me all my open orders. Before I was looking at every single open order. And then if you want to sort this by the name or by the quote number or by the dollar amount, but if you want to sort it by name, you can just drag it into this column. And it begins creating a sorting process. And then from here, I can create it by the sales order number and then the PO. So you can create the drill down capabilities. And over here, it's going to show me that I'm currently it's currently sorted by written by my initials. But again, you can drill down into these by creating your own sorting process. And you also can move things around on the screen. For example, let's get rid of some of these and put them back. And let's just say that, I have no need for the order type. You can literally either hide it, you can delete it, and you can also have it auto fit all the columns so it fits nice and neatly in the box. There are so many fun things you can do here. You can do this find panel here. You can say, give me all my open orders that have the PO of 2025 in it, for example. You can see that it'll highlight. So there is umpteen ways to go through it and search, sort, custom design these, and it will retain its value just for you. So once you get it the way you like it, you're good to go. So I wanted to point that out because there is some really, really impressive things you can do. So back to here. Let's get into some user-defined fields. How's that? So you can customize basically anything. So let's go back to the order entry screen here. So let's say the phone rings and we're looking for a customer and it's Halliburton. So searching my database here, it's late at night, so it's taking a little bit of time, but here we go. So you click on that and it will return Halliburton. It's got some instructions that I want everybody to know about within the CSR team. And then what it'll do is this particular customer wants us to put the oil rig location, for example, on particular forms, or we want to run queries off this in case they call. But so up here, I can just put in the oil rig location because that's what they want us to track, right? And this is what she just gave me over the phone. So you can put that in, and these are fields that are custom designed. When a customer comes to you and said, I need you to capture this information or record it, you can say, yes, I can, because you have this whole panel here that you can customize based on the overall orders themselves or the specific customer order level. Let's do another one, Merck. And you'll see here, these are the authorized people that can call in, or you can add one on the fly. And so they want you to keep track of that. And then when you go ship it, the same address has multiple buildings. You want to identify what building. You want to make sure that prints on the documentation. Let's do another one. John Hopkins. So this is John Hopkins University. Again, they've got some specific information I just want everybody to be aware of. And then in this particular case, they want a destination number. I'm not quite sure what this is, but this is something important to them. And again, on the same address, there's 3 different buildings, so we want to make sure it gets it to the right place. So these user-defined fields, if you haven't played around with them, you really need to dive into these things because it is impressive. So just do File, Find, just type in DEF. You can find user default maintenance. I'm sorry, that's not what I wanted, user-defined maintenance. Here we go, user field definition maintenance to be exact. So you can see here that I have developed lots of these. And so what I'm going to show you here, for example, is just that one I was looking at, the drilling locations. So you can see this customer's Parker Drilling. I want it specific to the customer's sales order, and it will be required. And this is the caption. These are the forms that I want it printed on. And this is the drop-down list of all the things that all of the possible options for that question. So again, you can create this and almost make it dummy proof, right? Let's look at another one. Let's do dry dock. This is for some companies, I think, on the East Coast. Here, dry dock, there we go. This one's for some shipyards. Again, same thing, right? At the customer sales order level, and they want this specific information put on these particular documents here in screens. And these are the different options here. Again, these are real live examples. I've created enough that will blow your mind because you can use this for anything. I use it for certificates of compliance. I use it for when I'm quoting, who's calling in, things that you would, that you would never think of. The customer is going to request something special. This company here, you create the documents you want, create the list. I mean, it's that simple. So again, you should never have to say no to a customer when it comes to designing or capturing, I should say, the information on an order. So with that being said, let's get into the diamonds in the rough that I call it. These are the things that people tend to overlook or they're right in front of them. Sometimes they don't pay attention. Again, you probably already know most of this stuff, but if you can take away one thing, that's fantastic. So let's give it a shot. So let's start here. So when somebody calls, I'm going to bring it up here. First thing, most people actually key in the customer's name and number in here, but we've come up with some newer technology. If you hit this, now you have the new grid technology where you can actually change these just like you saw. I can filter on these grids, things of that nature. So I'm looking for a company called Waste Management. And you can see there's quite a few, right? Let's just say it's a Supplied or Motion who's got 300 locations and you don't have time to scroll through these. You can just go right up to this city here, hit the binocular, say I'm looking for when it's in Baxley, Georgia. You start typing, it comes up automatically. Boom, that fast, you hit select, and it returns the value back to the screen. And then it comes up with some pop-up comments specific to this customer ship to. So again, this Find Customer here is kind of a nice utility that you should be looking at because it allows you to customize those screens. And once again, just like I showed you earlier, you can right click and you have all those capabilities to move things off the screen, on the screen, auto size it, create an auto find panel. Literally just play around with it. You'll be quite impressed with what you can do. So that's one thing. There's another thing that I think is extremely important, which is who's calling in. There's a system parameter table that you can go into and force the customer service person to capture who's calling in each time. It will jump right to here after you captured the name. So you can either look for an existing contact that was already in the system, right? Or you can enter one on the fly. So again, and it will capture it, it'll stay with this order, and then you can include this email on the invoice. So now I know who it is and their email, and it'll be attached. So these little things make a big difference when the customer calls back and Joe's on the phone and says, hey, where's my order and all that good stuff. So again, make sure too that you go to the system parameter tables and look that up. Another thing is, a lot of times when you're quoting, two things occur. Sometimes you're quoting somebody something new, used, and remand, if you're into that business. Or somebody wants quantity breaks. You don't have the authority or have the time to go in and manually set those up in the maintenance screens, or don't have access to the maintenance screens. But you can do that on the fly within the system. So let's get into it a little bit. First thing you got to do is print total on quote, turn that off. Because if you leave it on, it's going to total up those different lines, right? So if I did a new, used, and remand, it's going to give you a total of all three. I don't want that. I just want the total per and let me decide. Same thing with if you're going in and putting in quantity breaks, right? Unclick that. Go right here. And then what you're going to want to do is enter a line. Bear with me one second. So I'm at home and all the kids are off school today. Today's their first day off school, so everybody's on the internet in my neighborhood. So I apologize for the small delay here. So I'm going to enter a line here. And let's say the customer is looking for a specific item. So I'm going to put that item in here. And they want prices at 1, 5, 10, and 25, for example. So I'm going to pick this part. And then I'm going to put in the first quantity here at 1. So at that point, it's going to come up at $3.25. So they said, can you give me breaks, like I said, at 1, 5, 10, 25, things like that. So in order to do that, you just click here, hit price override, and you can come in here and say, all right, the next one's going to be at $3. I'm sorry, let's go to my bad. I got to save it, right? So the next one would be SDC 10, and we're going to do this at quantity of 5, right? Then you go to the pricing and hit the price override, and they're going to only pay $3 for that at the 5 level, right? And then at the 10 level, we're going to give it to for like, what are you thinking? $2.75 maybe? Let's give them a deal if they buy 10. So we'll come up here, we'll do them at $2.75. Sorry, fat finger that one. And the last one will be at 25. Last one, STC 10. And I apologize. Normally it's much, much quicker, but working from home, it is much different speed-wise here. So once I put that last one in, you can go to the print preview button and see what it looks like. I'm going to show you that so it doesn't, you can see that it doesn't do the total, and you will see the different breaks, the dollar amounts per 1, 5, 10, and 25. Hope you're all having fun out there too. And I wish you were here at the show because you're missing a good TribNet. So as you can see here, actually I did those the same, but you can see you can change the selling price, which I wasn't paying attention, but you can do those at 1, 5, 10, and 25, and then you can change these. So it's as simple as doing something like that. And again, you don't want the total down here. So again, a little thing like that, people tend to overlook that little guy. So it's there for you. Another cool thing is, you probably noticed down here is on the credit card feature now, you can actually collect a deposit. So if I want a $50 deposit, provided the order is less than or more than that, it's going to collect $50 on that order. I can also authorize $250 on that credit card, make sure I'm not getting scammed, and make sure they got money on their credit card. So these are some things that you'll actually notice now. And this one's actually brand new here, this feature. Another cool thing is the customer says, hey, listen, I need you to drop this, ship this right to my customer's customer, right? So you come up here, you can change it to Joe Smith, and then all you got to come down here is say, what is their zip code first? Since it's fully integrated to the Postal Service, if you watch the screen, it's going to come back and said, you're picking Hudson, Ohio, yes. And then what it does is it just cleared all the taxing fields so you don't screw up. So it erased them all. So you can quickly come up here and fix those, right? So all the taxing's correct, so I don't have accounting yelling at me. So there is an API to the Postal Service, which cuts down on so many errors and mistakes, and I don't need accounting yelling and screaming at me about something. So that's another cool feature that you can see here. So those are some of the highlights here before we get into the detail. So let's start all over now and go a little bit quicker. Excuse me. So here, if I want to do waste management, again, this is the old-fashioned way. You can see you can't modify those headings. So I just want you to see that the difference when I hit the find customer versus going to the screen itself. Again, there's a pop-up note, and customer says, listen, I need some of those stainless steel male connectors you're buying. Let's say these are tariff items. So I know it's a dirty word, but unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with. So you put in the number, it finds it, and in this case, the customer wants 4 of these. Now, I'm sure you're aware that TribNet has a tariff feature built in. So I'm just going to go back to the main screen. You can see what how it looks to yourself, and then I'll show you what it looks like to the customer. So this is what it's going to look like, right? You've got the part number here with the price, and then you have the tariff surcharge at 7% for that at $1.68. And this is what it's going to look like on the quote to the customer. Shut off some of these things. Maybe that's what's causing me troubles here. So here you go. You can see here that this is how the customer going to see it. I want to pass those. Obviously, they're aware that the tariffs obviously are there, and there's no reason to hide them, right? You got the cost. You need to pass some of it along. So I just want you to see that. So that's kind of cool. That's one less thing you have to worry about, right? But to be honest with you, there's been a lot of trade shows. Most ERP systems don't have a way to handle that easy or that transparent. Let's put it that way. Integration of manufacturer's catalog. This is kind of cool. So let's say you're looking for a particular part. I want a 1-inch, steel quick coupler. So it's going to do a bit of search on that, and it doesn't find it. So let's go back, and they said the part is, they're pretty sure is H862 something. So we're going to put that in. Came back and found it. There's a dash, but again, you don't need to have those. And once we get moving along here, so I have these pop-up screens, and this just talks about how you get to the things. But if you want to go right to the manufacturer's catalog, you just highlight this URL, hit open hyperlink, and right from within the drilling software, I'm bringing up the catalog. And then right from here, I can just hit share this catalog with my customer. Game changer, sets you apart. You got to be able to do this stuff when you're competing against Motion, Applied, Granger, and those guys. So these things are differentiators, right? So let's go back to this. Also, you can look at pictures and drawings too, right? So you can come up here, and you have the ability to click this button right here. And then I've got the CAD drawing and the tech sheet on this. So you can bring up the CAD picture, and you can also send that to the customer and say, are you sure this is what it is? And I can just hit the people that I want to, I just key in who it is for my contact list. So, whoops, sorry. So you have all those capabilities built right into the software that you might not be aware of. Maybe you are, but just cut and paste the URL link. When you're entering a part number, Google it, cut and paste, drop it right into the item maintenance screen. All you gotta do is go here and just do this and just drop it in right into here. And boom, there it will be. All right, SPA, special pricing agreements. I'm sure you're familiar with those. I don't know if you've set them up or not, but they're not that difficult to do. It's just another pricing matrix. So let's pick apart. Let's say I've pre-negotiated costing with a manufacturer for this customer for this part. So at a quantity 1, it's going to be the selling price of this customer is $325. My cost is $250. If they want 10, my selling price is $3, and the cost went down to $2. 25, cost dropped down, or the selling price went to $275. The cost went down to $1.75. And you'll see $250 down to $1.50. Those can be you can easily get to that if you need to, but that's how fast, just by putting in the quantity, it'll know what the special pricing agreement is. And if you come over here, it changes the source to a vendor, the special pricing agreements will come up over here. Just hit this button here, and it'll bring up the special pricing agreement here. You can see the effective date and all that stuff, and you can look at for all locations, all customers, all dates. So when you pick it, it will apply it, but it automatically applied it, so you can disable or enable it right from the order entry screen. My favorite feature is it's often ordered. Hey, 2 years ago, I bought some air hose, or I bought, this discharge hose, this acid chemical discharge hose. It's 1 inch, red, smooth, blah, 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 blah. So you just hit often ordered. I have it going back 12 months because that's about 80% of the time or more. It'll be in the last 12 months. But they said they thought it was 2 years ago. So I'm going to clear that. This customer buys a lot. I mean, too much stuff. Again, I've already showed you that there's these filters on the top of every field. And so all you do is click this, come up here, and I want, let's see, acid chemical. I can start to type it in. As soon as I start typing, it'll start going. And I want, here's the 1 inch red smooth. So I went back 2 years, found the part within seconds by typing that in the header. And then I'm going to put in the new quantity. But think about that. There is not a system on the planet where you can go in with a matter of one click of a button, change that field, put in the header, the description or part of the description, and off to the races you go. And they want 50 feet of this. Or again, I'm fat fingering this, but so we're going to just put in 50 feet. And then he said, wait a minute, how much is it? You say 26.72. No. Last time I think I paid like $20 a foot. So quickly go 2 clicks here in history, and you can see what they paid and see if they're lying to you or not. I know they would never lie to you, but they paid $26.62, and it was last year in May. So again, you have everything at your fingertips to service that customer at a very high level. Another thing is multi-level searching. If you click here, this is brand new, this screen. So now you have contains, matches, from to, starts with, right? So you can just type in swivel, mill, elbow, right? And then it'll come back, searches the database, and I just want Parker only, and I can put that in. Then narrow search done by supplier, right? I can put in Dan Voss. So again, I just want to show you that, and you can, once you find what you're looking for, you just double click on it. Again, you're selling engineered products, right? There's a lot of PSI, bend radius is gallons per minute, all that stuff, and you're going to need to be able to find it on those things. So I would suggest you use that. And again, this was returning, upselling right here, saying that you should try to sell them some tape sealant for that. And again, all you got to do is bring like this, copy it, and then once I put in how many, and then I can just go to the next line, drop in that tape. Again, you want to upsell them, right? And then go to the next part. Another neat feature is what's called preferred or non-preferred or core items. This was written in 2008. A customer came to us when the economy was starting to crash and said, I need my CSRs to focus on the most profitable ones. I need to pick the vendors that offer returns, free freight, discounts, and all that stuff. So there's a feature in the system. I'll show you here in a minute. They want half-inch short chain couplings. I'm going to just start typing in some of the name, and it returns this screen here, at which point the green are my profitable, my preferred vendors. The black are my second tier, and my red are my non-preferred, the ones that I'm not going to get returns. I'm going to pay a premium. Again, if I sell this and it comes back, I got to eat it basically. So it just keeps your eye on the prize. So the CSRs know who the primary vendors are, know where the money's at, right? So that's just kind of a neat thing. I'll just show you another one. Again, we sold V-belts, for example. Again, the same thing. You can pick the ones that are your most profitable in green and put that in. So look that up. It's called core, preferred or non-preferred. If you just go item, and this stuff is real simple here, and it's right here. Just by clicking this drop-down box. And so that's where it goes, just so you know. If you haven't heard about Warehouse 2, you must be living in a cave. I think this is a game changer, and it's a no-brainer investment. I mean, it's less than $200 a month, and I think the first 5 are free. So the very least, give it a shot. But check this out. This has been integrated to our software for many, many, many years. And a lot of our competitors don't even have this. You have to do it outside the system and then cut and paste or rekey it. So if I'm looking for this part and searching the database here, it's going to come back and tell me if I have any. Again, here's another example where I got the catalog loaded in here. So this is the Dixon catalog. So that's kind of cool, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put this quantity in here. I'm going to put 2 of those in. You can see here I'm already in the whole 3. So I need to react quickly. So I'm going to hit item availability. This will allow me to look at my other locations and any other distributor like in North America that has these that I can get it from right now. Most of them are going to be my competitors, but who cares? I'm going to bail out my customer and keep that business, right? So at this point, if I want to get it from Motion Industries, I just click select here, at which point it'll create a plan PO. And this way I can get somebody to authorize this and get this thing ordered so we can go send our driver over and pick it up or whatever the case may be. So that right there is a no-brainer investment. See how it creates plan PO. I'll show you another one. If you're doing TribNet or IDCO, they also have their own communities, are called. So again, this happens to be a TribNet one here. You can see it's TribNet's the source, and if it was IDCO, it would say IDCO here. So this, again, talk about being able to service your customer, especially with what's going on in the world today. It's a no-brainer investment. You can also have reserved inventory. If you have customers that they say, listen, you got to always have these on the shelf. I need these things. Please put a few on the shelf for me. And it's a big customer of yours. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So these are some instrumentation fittings here. And we're going to role play this here in a second. So basically, I've created a template that I can replicate by just changing the customers and the quantity. And so I have 10 of these sitting somewhere hidden for GE Medical and 6 for this company here, right? So let's prove that fact or not. So I'm going to put in the quantity one's 3. Now, the first thing you should be taught to do is go to substitutions first, right? Sell what you got within the building. You don't want to be cutting POs. So, and the next thing you're going to do is you're going to check, like I told you, the other locations and or the warehouse 2. And then if not, click this button right here called Item Master, Inquiry button. And this will give you all your other stuff, all your drill down capabilities, anything from looking at open orders, pick tickets, purchase orders, raw for Peter to PayPal. So if you click number 2, and you'll see this little blue dot, it's called an Easter egg. It's got all that hidden information behind it. And right here, you can see how many are on hand, what's committed for orders, what's reserved, and there's my 16, the 10, and the 6. What's coming in on PO. So if you come up here, you can look at your open orders if you want to steal it. I've got some on the floor getting ready to ship. I can go grab those, or I can wait to steal them from when these POs come in, grab them off of that, or if there's anything in the pick and hold area. So you have a lot of capabilities, and then you got this open order quantity by date report. You can see your forecasting down here. So that's kind of a neat little trick there. So keep that in mind. Again, it's called reserved inventory. It's located on the inventory location master record. If you sell gaskets, O-rings, seals, and you have they're coming in standard packs or stainless steel fittings, you probably should be using this feature, because if you're buying these in standard packs, like bags of O-rings or bags of seals or stainless steel fittings are really expensive, so we have to buy 5 at a time, or you can set up the standard pack quantities. So let me show you that. And it's just letting me know that the pictures are, there's a picture there for this. So let's say the customer wants 3 of these. It will come back and tell me that that is not an option, that these are coming multiples of 5. So I have to change that to 5. Or if you want to see where that's set up, it's as quick as going to the Go item. And this is where my selling quantity is, and then my buying will be right here. And this is where you set up the standard packs when you purchase. So we buy these in boxes of 25. We break them down, these stainless steel fittings, and put them in packs of 5, for example. So that's how easy it is to set that stuff up. Competitive cross references, we've got a vendor catalog table that you can go in and set up, or you can get these things from your suppliers, right? So listen, they're buying these gates fittings from Austin Hose and they want them, they don't have them on their shelf, but I know they would all the time because Austin Hose is amazing. But let's say they got to get them for motion today because they need them right now. There's one 2 blocks over. So I can put in the gates part number, and it brings up Fittings Unlimited. So this is, I sell Fittings Unlimited, and this is the competitor's part that they're buying from. So that quickly, it just switched it over. I'll give you another example. They're buying Air Equip fittings. I'm going to switch it to gates. You can see it switch over. I'm buying Eaton, and it brings back Parker. I can go do this all day long. So again, I would take the time, throw some of those in there, especially the ones you do a lot of, like especially if somebody comes to the counter and throws a Gates hose down or a Parker or whatever in your Ryco or Newly or whoever. So that's that. If you sell, again, O-ring seals and you need to track the batch or the lots, I'm sure you're aware that you can do this very easily. And this really comes into play if you're selling into aerospace, food, automotive, and the sanitary industry, because you're not allowed to break the batches, right, or the lots. That's a no-no. So basically what you're going to do then, you're going to hit this go button, hit item maintenance. And down here in this window, there's FIFO here. So what'll happen is when you're receiving these parts, you're going to put a label on these with the receiving date or the cure date or whatever. And so you're going to grab the oldest one first and then this one here is this FIFO complete, what I was telling you about. If you're selling it in one of those 4 industries, you're not allowed to break batches. You can't take 5 out of this batch and 5 out of this batch because there's no traceability. So that you would put FIFO complete for this particular item if that's the case. So these little things relieve a lot of headaches. Another cool feature is this is only if you have branches. If you don't have branches, you can look at your phone real quick or stretch your legs or something. But so in the olden days where I worked, people were stealing everybody's inventory because nobody wanted to stock it because they were getting paid on return on assets. So I'm looking for this hose, for example, and the customer wants, 50 feet of this, right? And I don't have any. So again, there's no substitutions. What are we going to do? We're going to go right to this item availability. And I can see that this location has 560 feet. So I'm just going to hit select there. And if you want to block people from taking all of your inventory, then because you can't service your customer, you would go to here, item maintenance, click your location when it stops spinning. And at this point, you can go in and say, I need you to protect my FMD. I mean, I sell per month, right? I need at least keep that on my shelf at all times. So what you'll do is you'll click this 2-purchasing tab here, and you'll come up here and put in protected transfer quantity. So I'm blocking them from getting 700 feet of that because I sell at least that much every month. So I want to be able to take care of my customers. So I want you to be aware of that. I don't know if you do RFQs, request for quotes, but let's open another screen. You should have a button on your main screen called RFQ. I would add one to the screen right here. So, but in the meantime, come up here, hit this button right here. So all you do is put in the quote. Let's go back to the screen I was on. So once I put in the part number I'm looking for, which is the 8001026, This happens to be a brake locking system here. And we usually don't carry these because they're quite expensive. So I'm going to blast out to anybody I've ever bought it from, or any vendors that I have on file. So I'm going to go back to that other screen, put in that quote number I'm on, say all vendors. It comes up and says, this is going to send an RFQ out to Applied Motion, Grainger, McMaster-Carr. Just click this button here. And show what it looks like, because it's already sent them out. So I've got these set up to go. And you have to see what they look like, but it's in the booklet. And so, and then again, you're going to put in, whatever you want here, like in the body of this. But I want you to see how fast, while I'm talking to the customer, I can get these RFQs out and move on to the next. So I want you to see, if you're not doing it, you should use the request for quote feature. It's pretty slick. Underutilized, crazy. If you're selling anything technology-based, like, for example, pumps, valves, cylinders, motors, you get a custom order. When you capture the information from the customer, it needs to be passed along to the PO. If you're not keying it here, they're not going to remember. And if you order the wrong thing, you're going to have to eat it, right? So this pops up, let me know there's a template. I put in the quantity. I just click this button here and hit save. It's going to come up automatically. And all I do is put in the answers to their questions. And I've already got it going on the PO, and I am done. So I just took that information from the customer, and it is going to be on the PO when I update this quote for an order. I mean, think about that. So this is where we're at on the quote. That's kind of it from the customer service standpoint. We covered a lot in a short period of time, but I want you to see that there's all these little things that are kind of game changers for you, right? So again, you can just see, you can print those on those notes on the quote as well, just to confirm, and the acknowledgement to make sure that you heard what you thought they said. So another thing is, if you have counter sales, proof of delivery, how many times did you get a call that day? Hey, driver was in an hour ago, picked up a bunch of stuff, lost the receipt. I need a copy. You can fix that permanently, never have to deal with that again by going to the customer master screen. And then all your walk-in customers, I would flip this, go to 2. Anytime a customer invoice is generated at the counter, it will automatically email a copy to their corporate headquarters. So with shipment and counter receipt, it will send them an invoice. So that you're not getting those calls anymore, right? Game changer right there. Nobody can do that I'm aware of in the industry. And tell me you're not getting those calls all day long. I was just somewhere the other day, they said, oh, we get 10 calls a day. And this is a, couple $1 million distributor. So if you're big, I can't even imagine how many you get. I hope you all will have the advanced shipping notifications turned on. You're just giving the customer a heads up. It's on its way. Just being courteous, polite, and kind. You can create your own. This is so cool. We give you the ability to create your own. You could have one for every customer if you wanted to. It's not practical, but I customized this today. Just playing around, but I come up here and it says, what shipping method. And then you can look at what it's going to look like before it emails it to them. It's going to fill it all in, and this is what it's going to look like. So it just gives you a snapshot of the email that the customer is about to get with all their information. I think this is so slick. So as soon as they do shipping confirmation process, boom, they're getting one of these. So I would definitely take advantage of that. Again, another feature on the customer screen. I should have stayed there on that same tab, as a matter of fact. So again, let's go back to the other tab, number 2. This is where you do the advanced shipping notification right here. So make sure you flip that switch. This is another little tiny thing. You could have as many email addresses per customer. Right here, you can just keep enter in, and then if you want them to get a copy of the invoice, I'm sorry, their email on the invoice, and then copy the statement. So it's so small, these little dots, people sometimes don't even realize that you can have as many emails as you need. So good stuff right there. I'm sure everybody knows this, and I stumbled upon it a couple of years ago. I thought it was kind of cool. It's called mass change, or customer criteria process. So it allows you to do a mass change by customer. You can do it by customer type, by sales, by territory. So let's say we hired a new salesperson. I'm going to give them all mine, and I'm going to go hunt for the rest. So I'm going to come up here. So give me all my customers in my territory. So this is all of them. So I'm going to click post. And I'm going to get this pop-up screen that says, okay, what do you want to change? Well, I want to change the territory and give these to the new guy, right? So I can hit OK, and it'll go blow through and change all these territories. Or if it's an OEM customer and I'm going to give them new credit terms, I put in OEM. We're going to give them a better deal than everybody else. We're going to give them 1% net 10. Hit OK, boom, blows through it. Game changer, right? You're not changing all these things manually, these records. So expediting. So someone calls up, where's my order? Starts screaming at you, click a button. I created a sales order expedite button, which actually runs the sales order line status inquiry screen. Customers screaming at me, you said it would be here today. I know you never got those calls. And my PO, you said, what's the sales order? I have no friggin' idea. I'll tell you what my PO is. So what you want to do is click the binocular, come down to the PO field, put that in there, hit apply. These are all people that have it in it. You say, ma'am or sir, who's calling? I'm with Triple Crown. I got you. Don't worry. It'll retrieve that order here, and it's going to come back and give me a status update on this. These all have been shipped on the 12th. They've got it. They're waiting on this hose assembly right here. So I can look, and he said he never got anything though. So I'm going to come up here and hit the freight manifest button, and this will give me the tracking number, and I can see who signed for it at their company within a matter of seconds. So you can see it was delivered. I can look at the picture of it, who delivered it, dropped it off at my front porch or their dock or whatever. But the new technology that our developers are working on is internet-based searching. For example, I can put in 2025 in what's called the enterprise search. This goes through the whole database. Watch this. And it looked for that date, or that, in this case, 2025. I can say, just give me my sales orders or give me my purchase orders. I can give it all. So I can quickly expedite things from there and say, oh, it's here's the company I'm looking for right here. Let's check out the activity log in this order and see what's holding it up. You can come down here, and it's internal fab. It's getting worked on. So we should have it to them today, even though we've been working on it since March. But so there's all kinds of cool expediting tools that are there for you. So we're almost done purchasing. If you do purchasing task, click here. And people that do purchasing pretty much know the vendors and how much you need, and have a really good grasp on the on what they need and what they don't need, right? But you can't remember everything. So I'm looking for, I got a problem with this Ballflex PO for some reason. Somebody's telling me there's an issue with it. So I'm going to look it up. And once it stops spinning, I look at this thing and say, wait a minute, I got a shelf full of these. I don't need any more of these things. Who are you to tell it, right? That's just your thought process. You just double click on that. It's going to bring it up. And then from here, I hit this go button, hit buy quantity inquiry. And this is kind of analytical tool we've developed. It allows you to do what if scenarios. Based on all the scenarios of your forecast month demand, your lead time, and the standard deviations, right? The MAD, it's telling you should buy 0 right now. Calculate buy quantity. Your inventory position is 81, 6 on hand, 75 on POs. You're selling 80 a month, so you should be good. But let's say the salesman says, hey, listen, I'm going to sell a lot more next month. Let's say he says, I'm going to sell 90 next month. Well, it's going to come back and says if next month's going to be 90, then you better order 89 now. Or, if the lead time changes to they're going to close down for a month, right? It changed it, this calculated reorder point to 153 from 80. So you can do what if scenarios here. You can even change it if I do min max, EOQ, turn. So you've got all these really slick tools you can do some different scenarios with, and make better educated decisions. So that is kind of it. I blew through a lot in a short period of time, but hopefully you can take one of those things back with you. And if you can, that's great. If the more you can implement, the better served you're going to be. Thanks for taking your time. I really, really appreciate you. And I hope to see you soon.